Good evening, friends. With immense pleasure, I welcome you to this first day of the virtual CPE workshop on Introduction to Power BI. Friends, we have all been talking about ABCD with respect to technology, and intelligence is something which is very integral to the technology. And therefore, at WRC, we have thought it apt to have a workshop with respect to introduction to business intelligence. I am honored to have with us today our chairman CA Lalit Bajaj, the speaker CA Pradip Pardesi ji, coordinator CA Sunil Gupta ji, and we are also going to launch a publication and e-publication with respect to Indays, for which we have the contributors with me, CA Gautam Mota, CA Manoj Sahu, CA Yogesh Amalji, whom we can see on screen, and CA Amir Khan, CA Ankur Sethi, CA Hemlata Jawar, CA Himesh Gajjar, CA Jainam Shah, CA Jai Shah, CA Nirav Thakkar, CA Seema Parikh, CA Timal Madu. Before we proceed further on the publication or the session, I would request Lalit Bhai to kindly give his opening remarks. Lalit Bhai, please.
Thank you, Vishal bhai. Expert on the subject for today's session, Mr. Pradip Pardesi ji, my colleague in the council, Vishal bhai, various contributors who have dynamically worked on this particular publication, whereby we all have been enriched by the availability of this particular publication on WIRC website. Coordinator Sunil Gupta, seniors, participants, and friends. At the behest of WIRC, I welcome all of you in this August gathering, whereby we are supposed to discuss on introduction to Power BI. When I talk about introduction to Power BI, let me tell you that during this year we have organized and conducted a couple of events whereby we have discussed and deliberated in length on business intelligence. And when I come to this subject for the day, and when we see we have with us Mr. Pradip Pardesi ji, this program has been specially designed ensuring that we all are really fortunate to hear from the thoughts of Pradip Pardesi ji. I think so post this program, this is one of the area whereby some or the other way it affects all the practicing arena and the endeavors which we try to fulfill at our practicing units. And with this particular program we will all be enriched. I believe that in future with your suggestions and support we will be able to design more and more such kind of programs. I would like to really compliment Vishal Doshi, all the contributors. I'm not naming each one of them, but all of them, around 15-16 contributors, have worked effortlessly on this particular publication for number of days. I would congratulate all the participants and all the members of our institute, whereby it has been possible for all of us to take benefit of this particular publication. Let us cherish these efforts put in by our members. And let me share with all of you, there are lot many things which are happening at WIRC, which we are intending to do to a greater extent at WIRC. Your support and able guidance always helps us to conduct lot many activities and move ahead with lot many initiatives. I look forward for more and more suggestions and guidance from all of you, whereby your participation and contribution really helps us to enable us to conduct all these activities. Do visit our website, do visit our newsletter, whereby you will come to know and abreast by about all the activities of WIRC. I look forward for more and more participation from all of you, and look forward for relevant contributions on various activities of WIRC. With this, I once again welcome all of you and look forward for an enthralling three-day session on this particular topic, Power BI. Thank you.
Thank you, Lalit bhai, for your words of encouragement and for your unstinted support to this group for coming out with this publication. I would now, Mishra ji, जरा screen पे publication लगाइए please. Friends, this publication that is being released with the support of the chairman and all the contributors is the anthology on Ind AS notes and disclosures. At WRC, I would say that in different, by way of different publications, we now have an almost end-to-end reference manual on our WRC website for professionals with respect to the reporting practices. We have the audit report anthology on key audit matters and other audit report. We have a PDF book on ebook on the Caro reporting. We recently released the anthology on Ind AS accounting policies, and now we are coming up with this anthology on Ind AS notes and disclosures, which would mean that on the WRC website we have almost an end-to-end referencer, a solution for members to refer to. Uh, Friends, I would say that this publication was not at all an easy task because different companies have different presentation models, different templates which they use, and therefore compiling them into one publication was extremely difficult. मिश्रा जी थोड़ा स्क्रॉल करिएगा नीचे कंट्रीब्यूटर्स के नाम पे आइए आप प्लीज अच्छा ये इमेज है पीडीएफ नहीं है फाइन सो फ्रेंड्स आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक सीए गौतम मोटा who was the coordinator for this whole publication and this team has worked for almost 3 months to come out with this. I would like to thank the contributors CA Amir Khan, CA Ankur Sethi, CA Bhavin Doshi, CA Chandan Lahoti, CA Hemlata Jawar, CA Himesh Gajjar, CA Jainam Shah, CA Jai Shah, CA Manoj Sahu, CA Minakshi Gupta, CA Nirav Thakkar, CA Percy Irani, CA Sankit Porwal, CA Seema Parikh, CA Timal Maru, and CA Yogesh Amal. Each one of them have tirelessly worked, and considering that in between we all had the various due dates, compliance calendar of ours, considering that they have really come out in the shortest possible time, I would say, looking into the application. So my heartfelt thanks to each of the contributor for adding value to our professional endeavors at WRC. Thank you everybody. Friends, now we move on with this virtual CPE workshop on introduction to Power BI. Before I hand over to the speaker, CA Mr. Pradip Pardesi ji, I would request the coordinator CA Sunil Gupta to kindly introduce the speaker.
Yeah, hi, good evening all. Yeah, today's speaker, Mr. Pradip Pardesi, is a computer engineer, micro certified trainer and consultant. He has started his own company in 2008 and successfully conducted 1,000 plus batches for more than 150 companies in IT domain. He is coach and trainer in the areas of MS Office, data analytics, Power BI, IT optimization, social media optimization, and human productivity using IT. He is acclaimed across the globe and is very sincere in his pursuits. Over the years, he has provided training to different level of participants. He has a strong sense of job responsibility, rich real-time industry experience, and ability to utilize the same in training group and have good communication, presentation, and query solving skill. In his experience of 10 plus years, he has worked with large corporates like Renvexi, Raymond, Cipla, Kalpatru, Times Now, Aditya Birla Group, Tech Mahindra, to name a few. Globally, he has traveled to many countries for training on various Microsoft technologies. He was interviewed by ET Now on their show Leaders of Tomorrow. He has achieved a own credential from Microsoft Certified Trainee, which means he is one of the amongst 12,000 people across the globe. Till now, he has worked more than 150 multinational companies in India and abroad. He is also having a YouTube channel He is having a credential like Microsoft Certified Trainer. He is also having Microsoft Certified Solution Associates, Office Specialist. He is also a Microsoft Certified Performer. So with this, I would like to give the chance to our speakers, Pardesi sir, Pradip Pardesi sir.
Thank you very much. It was pleasure to be here on the platform of ICI again. Uh, my association with ICI started in the year, I think, 2014, when I did the first session, and I was privileged to be invited by ICI Dubai, ICI Abu Dhabi, and Singapore chapters to conduct the sessions. And this is ongoing association since then. And I have been conducting trainings on various skills like Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Power BI primarily. So today's session is on Power BI. So what I'm going to do is this is going to be a 4 days long sessions where I'm going to be taking you to the journey of Power BI from the very scratch to the advanced level. But before that, I would request the panelists or the organizer to allow me to send messages to the audience, because I have to send them message regarding the files, and I'll be interacting with them. Whenever there is a formula, I'll be writing the formulas to them, so that just in case if they are not comfortable writing the long formula, they can attend. Important for me. So kindly allow me to send messages to them. And okay, so for the time being, till this training is going on, I'm turning off my camera so that you all can have a good bandwidth and you can focus on the session. All right. All right. So before we get started, I'm going to be starting with the basics of Power BI. And meanwhile, I would recommend and request all of you to download the following files. Okay. So I'm just putting it on the chat window. All right. So here is the file you all need to download. Those who are going to be a part of this session, please download the file which is here. Let me show you how to download the file, just in case if you guys get confused. I'm just going to be sharing with all of you. Just 1 second. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, let me show you this link that I've given to you. You just need to copy and paste that link, and see it takes you to OneDrive. Okay. Now here, when you go to OneDrive, it will give you a lot of files and folders. What you need to do is, today we are only going to be talking about Power Query, so I've given you one folder. So what you need to do is, when you come onto this folder, okay, I think this has opened my OneDrive account. Let me put it here. Yeah. So this is how the screen will look like. The screen is loading. This is how the screen will look like. And what you need to do is, at the top left corner, you have the download button. Just click on download. I'm also doing it along with you guys. Okay. What you need to do is, you've got to click on the download button, and the file will get downloaded onto your system. Okay. See, this file has got downloaded, and it is asking me to do save as, and I'll save it on the desktop. I'm saving it purposely on the desktop because for this session, you would need this file to be available. Okay. So here is the file downloaded on my system. Okay. Just a second. Yeah. Here is the file. See, friends, when it gets downloaded onto your system, all you need to do is just do right click, extract all. You need to extract these files because these are in zip folder. So extract these files and make sure that you name the same ICI, Power BI, or anything that reminds you that this file is to be used for the next 4 days. Yeah, remember that part. So I click on extract. I repeat the entire process just in case if you are confused. Uh, I have given the link in the chat. What you need to do is just click on that link. It will take you to this particular browser screen. Click on the download. This will get downloaded onto your system. Yeah. When it gets downloaded on your system, all you need to do is just do right click on it and extract. Okay. So those who are joining in late can just copy and paste this link on your browser. I'll be pasting it quite frequently so that all of you can have it by the end of the session. Okay. Now, I believe, let me just ask you in short, all of you can just put a message on the chat window. How many of you have worked with Power BI in the past? Yeah. Is there anyone who has worked with Power BI in the past? Just write yes, no. The panelists, do these people have access to chat? Okay. All right. Yeah, yeah, I'm receiving messages. Thank you. Thank you. Just 1 second. Let me extract the chat window out. Yeah. Okay. So only CA Hemlata responded to my question. She said, no, she has not worked. And we have got almost 133 people. So, friends, what I would recommend and request each one of you, see, there's only one way of communication, that is chat. I mean, of course, just in case if you guys want, you can unmute yourself and speak. I mean, that access will be given time to time. But at the moment, you can just respond to me on the chat window because there are more than 100 people. So what I would request all of you to do is keep responding, because your responses are the motivation for me to continue the session. Otherwise, just speaking in front of the dumb computer screen becomes extremely boring. So make sure that you do not hesitate to respond to my questions. Okay. So once again, how many of you have worked with Power BI before, or all of you are new? I've only got two responses. One is from Amal, Yogesh Amal, and Hemlata Jawar. Anyone else? Thanks a ton for CA Yogesh and CA Hemlata for responding. Others, I'm not sure what the responses are. But anyways, we'll get started with the session. I won't be waiting for the responses. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is, see, this is the Power BI screen. So those who have never used Power BI, need to download Power BI software on your system. Yeah, if you don't have it, I'm sorry, you won't be able to practice it along with me. You will just be able to listen to what I'm saying. So where to download Power BI? I'm sure you are using Windows 10. So what you need to do is, just I'll share the link also. I think these most of you would be knowing what is Power BI and all. If you don't know, I'm just gonna walk you through. Okay, so here what we are going to do is um, download Power BI. Yeah, so that actually takes you to this website, which is Power BI. And here, these are the, sorry, here is the download option. What you can do is just go to download option on Power BI and it will take you to the download screen. Okay, so this particular screen is going to take you to Microsoft Store. Otherwise, you can use this link. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste this link on the chat window so that just in case if you don't have it, you can download it on your system. Okay, this is a pretty big software to be downloaded and used on the screen. Okay, now, so the two things that I sent was there were two links that I've shared. One was Power BI training files to be downloaded and Power BI software. Okay, now when you talk about Power BI, what exactly is Power BI? Power BI is nothing but business intelligence by Microsoft, and these features are available in Microsoft Excel also. Not all the features of Power BI are available in Microsoft Excel, but many of them are available. which is Power Query or Power Pivot. They are as the feature is available in Power BI, it is available in Excel as well. So I'm going to tell you how to work on Excel also, but primarily we'll be focusing on Power BI only. Now, see, when you download and install Power BI, this is the screen that you get to see. Now, when you see the screen, it has got three sections, and all these three sections are very important. Although you can see it, but I'd like to highlight the importance of these three sections. The first one is you get to see the data to import or the recent files. Like we have recent files in MS Office. Similarly, we have it over here as well. Second thing here is if you talk about this particular section, just in case if you want to view some basic understanding on Power BI, you can watch these videos. All right, these are nothing but learning videos that you can view. Here you have a link which allows you to go to the section which has got all the videos in one page. So these are various videos that you can watch to learn Power BI. This is for self-learning part. Okay, next thing if I talk about is what's new. Now this section is most important and useful. What's new? Let me tell you, Power BI gets updated every month. Microsoft updates Power BI every month. Okay, now when Microsoft updates Power BI every month, what happens here is you get to see the feature details. What updates have been released by Microsoft in Feb 2021 are available here. Okay, these are the latest release of Power BI. Yeah, data connectivity. Yeah, anyone who has a question? I think someone has unmuted themselves. No worries. So here we have different options that you can use, that you can see what those updates are. And here is the video. Okay, Microsoft also has a YouTube channel where it releases all the videos on Power BI. So this is December 2020 update. This was the major update, and here what exactly happens? You get the feature by feature details. You can just go through these feature details and update yourself. Now, if you look at February 2021, yeah, take a look at Feb 2021 feature updates. These are the feature updates by in February 2021. You can just click on read more to expand more on that particular section. Okay, so here, this is a nice way to keep yourself updated with Power BI, what exactly has been the recent update. Now, next thing, if I talk about forum, now this is something extremely important. Why is it important? Let's say in these 4 days you do learn Power BI, and to a certain extent you will be able to create Power BI reports, but real life situation can be different from what I've taught you. Yeah, or it may not be exactly similar. In those cases, what happens is, okay, I think your responses, I have it in a separate window. Sorry, I could not see the responses here. I actually was looking for the responses in another window. Yeah, just 1 second, friends. Okay, so most of you have said that you have not worked on Power BI, except a few of them. Okay, so in this question and answer panel, that where you can ask questions. Now, let me tell you, people, I just now noticed that I have more than 100 responses. I'm very sorry that I said people are not responding, because I was not looking at this window. Okay, and there are people who have raised their hands. So just in case if you have any question, you can just let me know. Okay, I can see all the responses. Okay. So, friends, so this is like what I said was this is forum, which is very important. So, like I said, if just in case if you get stuck with some problem or any query or concern, what you can do is you can go to this forum and ask questions, and this is free support by Microsoft. When you come here, you get responses from community people, and the people are either Microsoft employees who are paid to answer your questions. Others are Microsoft certified trainer, the people like me who are certified with Microsoft, who can give you the answers to the question. Or there is an elite community also of Microsoft, which is called as Microsoft Valuable Professional (MVP). Okay, that is an elite community. That is also those are the people considered to be the authority on any particular subject that Microsoft has. Okay, now those people answer the questions over here. So either you can ask questions, or you can read questions, or you can respond to any questions. Now let me tell you here, I often come to this website to test my knowledge. That means if I say that I am pretty good with Power BI, I need to be able to solve the questions of people. And if I am not able to answer the question, that means that is the area that I need to improve on. Or if I have to research, if I have to study something unique, I come and look for questions which I do not know the answer or which are new to me. So here you can test your knowledge, you can help someone, as well as you can increase your knowledge. This forum is extremely important. So friend, do not forget to click on this link. Okay. The next two links are nothing but this What's You and Power BI blog. This is exactly the similar thing. In Power BI blog, you also have certain features, certain updates that Microsoft has released, or apart from that, some best practices video. You can also view it over here in Power BI website. Now, the last thing, tutorials. Here you have the sample. Here you have training videos. I would recommend all of you to go through these links to learn more about them. Okay. So these are the three sections. By now, I'm assuming that you guys have downloaded the files, and you must have downloaded the Power BI desktop software also. Okay. Okay, Deepak Nagori, you asked a question: should we download PBI setup or 64? It depends, Deepak, whether you're using 64-bit system or 32-bit. If it is a latest system that you have purchased in the last 2 years, I would recommend go with 64. Otherwise, if it is more than 2 years old, it could be 32-bit or 64-bit. Okay. Bhairavi Shelankar, you are not able to download. I'm not sure what could be the reason. I'm pasting the link once again to all of you. Okay. Kapil, your responses are available. Sorry, visible. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the link once again in the chat. Just a moment. Yeah. This is the link to download Power BI. And there is one more link that I'm going to send to you for this is the link for, sorry, that's the wrong way to paste a link. Yeah, this is the link for downloading the Power BI files. Okay. Yeah, I've pasted both the links. Okay, Anil, that's a suggestion. I'm not sure if technically you can speak or not, but I'm responding to the questions because there are more than 130 people. Now it's 140 people who is attending this program, and if all of them will unmute themselves and speak, it will be a real chaos. So you can ask questions. I am looking at the questions on the screen. Okay, and let me also give you one suggestion before we get started with Power BI. I'm using two screens. One screen, I have Power BI, which is my laptop where I'm working on. And I have another screen, which is my desktop monitor, where I am looking at all the responses and questions. Now, this is the ideal setup that you should use whenever you have to do any online training program. What is the difference? First difference is, see, what happens is here on the screen you will be viewing what I'm showing, and then you will do alt tab to switch over to another screen and practice yourself. Now that can be a real challenging thing. Yeah, if you have two screen, one screen you can just view what is going on, as a video, and on another screen you can practice simultaneously. You don't have to press alt tab multiple times. Okay, that's the benefit. Now I'm going ahead. Srinivas, I have not yet started, so there's no question of going slow. I have not yet started the session, but don't worry. If you feel that I'm going very fast, you can let me know as and when you feel like. Uh, okay. So Anil Pandit is asking whether do I need to sign into Power BI? No, you don't need to at the moment, but you would need on the last day when I'm going to be asking you to work on Power BI service. Okay. So now, so let me tell you, there are other questions related to update and all that I will answer generally. First thing, let me tell you, your Power BI needs to be updated every month. Okay. So generally, when you get the Microsoft update, your Power BI also gets updated. So you don't have to update it separately unless you have the latest Windows. You do not have the latest Windows 10 software. Okay. Earlier, you were required to download and install Power BI separately every month. But now what happens with Microsoft updates, your Power BI also gets updated. So every month you will see some changes happening, as I've said earlier. Now, once you get the first screen, so first screen is this getting started screen, which is coming over. You can just simply close it. And this is the first screen of Power BI where you get a lot of visualization options. Okay. So if you look at the canvas, this is the canvas where we will be working. But here we can import all the data. So the data that you have in Excel files, you can load that data over here. And these are the relationship that we'll see maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, how to work with relationships. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is, as per my experience, I have heard that most of the people, those who work on Excel, switch over to Power BI. Okay. So my main data source for now is going to be Excel only, right? Just in case if there is anyone who is required to download the data from SAP or SQL Server or any other tool, I can help them, but I won't be able to include that in the demonstration. Okay. Now, uh, okay. Power BI is a free software or paid software? So that's a very good question from someone. Power BI is a data visualization software. Like someone also said that they are using Tableau. So something similar to Tableau, Power BI is a data visualization software. That means you can create the data in Power BI. You can create the charts and dynamic visuals and publish it. And everyone who is the part of your team will get to see what you have published. They may or may not have the access to edit or make changes to the reports that you create. Okay. Now, when you talk about Power BI, it's desktop. Power BI desktop software is absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything for it. Okay. But the Power BI service, which is a cloud service, needs to be paid. Yeah. And the cost of that Power BI is $9.99. Yeah. Which is close to 600 rupees a month. Yeah. Now, when you talk about Power BI desktop software, the one that I'm using, you can download it from the link. That's a genuine Microsoft link and use it. There is no cost for it. Okay. There are no license fees attached to it. Okay. Now, so why should we use Power BI and not Excel? See, when you talk about Excel, Excel has its own advantages. Now, what are the advantages of Excel? First of all, Excel is quite user friendly. Quite, you can use it the way you want to. And Excel has got the unique feature of flexibility. It's completely flexible. You can pick up any column, make changes. You can tamper the data. You can manipulate the data, or you can just keep the data the way it is. But Power BI, when I talk about Power BI for a large organization, See what happens in large organization, these reports are created by someone and viewed and analyzed by someone else. That's the first thing. Okay, let's take an example. I am the executive assistant of a general manager of a company or vice president or CEO of a company. Okay, I am the one who's going to create all these reports. And what happens in normal scenario, you you create the report in an Excel and send it to your boss. Okay, your boss will every day receive the reports and you will have a pile of reports. Okay, every day. So in a month you will have almost 25 to 30 reports, right? So likewise what happens is every day you are sending him the update. Now if he has to compare the data versus last week what you have done, he may not have the or he will have to pull up the earlier file. Okay, but Power BI gives you the flexibility with writing just a simple line of function. You will be able to compare the report with this month versus last month, this week versus last week, this year versus last year, and so on and so forth. Okay, so when you talk about Power BI, it is completely useful and flexible, but it has got its own limitations as well. When you talk about the limitations of Power BI, uh, first thing is your system should have Power BI software, which is not used by many people. So let's take an example. I'm using Power BI, but my colleague doesn't have Power BI. Then it is difficult for him to view the report. Now, how can I make him view the report? One is I can publish the Power BI as an open report where anyone who has the link can see the report, and then only he can view the report in the browser also. Okay. Now, Power BI, when you talk about creating the report, it's very useful, very easy to create reports, and it can be complicated as well. Why complicated? Because you can go to any limit and create the reports. Okay. Now, what needs to be done when you talk about Power BI? Here, these are various charts. If you look at the left hand side, these are various charts, the various fields. So now I'm going to talk about how can we actually go ahead and import the data into Power BI. Okay. Now, friends, as I have already sent this link to all of you should have this file downloaded in order to be able to participate in this training program. Okay. Now, if there is anyone who has not downloaded, please let me know in the question answer panel and I shall respond to their question. Okay. Okay. Someone has asked a question: is Power BI only a reporting tool? It's not a database tool. You can say Power BI is not a database tool because you can create and maintain the data, but RDBMS, the concepts of RDBMS, which is Relational Database Management System, are being used here. But you cannot use it like a real data which can hold huge amount of data. Okay, it's a reporting tool, right? Business intelligence tool. Okay. All right. So there are some users who have not downloaded the file. I'll just paste the link and I'll continue with the session. Okay. So here is the file that I've downloaded and sorry, I've sent it to you. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how to import the data in Power BI. So the first step to import the data in Power BI is, see, what you can do is, as you can see, various sections where Power BI can download. When you talk about Power BI, there is a folder ICI Power BI and there is a file with the name Power Query. Okay. Now, when I talk about, I will be importing the data from this folder for today's session. So when I go to Power BI here, I have the option import from Excel, import from SQL Server, paste database into blank table, or try sample data set. Now, when you talk about try sample data set, it's very important to practice the data which is available within Power BI. So this is a sample data set that you can practice, but I'm not going to be using this. I have already given you the sample data set. Okay. So there is a Mac user here. For Mac also, Power BI is available. You can use the same link to download it on your system. Okay. So I'm going ahead. See, friends, there are a lot of questions being bombarded, so I'm not able to answer every question, but I am trying to answer as many questions as possible. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to import the data from Excel. Now, if you are not on the first screen, you have this option which says Get Data. Okay. So I can click on this Get Data and open the sorry, my screen is freezing for some reason. Anyways, so here I have the option of Get Data. In Get Data drop down, I see all these options, or I can click on More, which will give me plenty of options to download or import the data from. Now, if you see Power BI, I can get the data from so many connectors. Now, these are called as direct connectors that I can get the data from, which is very simple and easy to use. Now, if I tell you section by section, I can import the data from an Excel file, from CSV, from XML, JSON. I can even import the data from a PDF file. Okay, that's a very important one. I can import the data which is available in the folder. So let's say in a folder, I've got 100 files and I'd like to merge all those files and create one file. I can certainly go ahead and download, merge all the files and create the report. So we are going to take one session. In one session, I'm going to be talking about how to get the data from folder. Don't worry, either today or tomorrow. I can even get the data from SharePoint. So if there are any Microsoft 365 user, you can use my SharePoint to uh, remove the data from. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about Microsoft 365 also in a while, but let's continue with Office Power BI for now. Now, I can even get the data from database. Now, as someone asked me a question, is Power BI a database tool or a reporting tool? It is a reporting tool. It has the concepts of a relational database, but it cannot be called as a database software. Okay. So you can get the data from SQL Server and many other databases. So just in case, if your organization has SAP data, you can even get the data from SAP HANA database. Okay. These are SAP related connectors. Okay. So see, let me tell you, in order to use any of these connectors, all you got to do is you have to have the account. Just click on that, enter your credentials and connect. It's that simple. Okay. Power Platform. This is something different. I'm going to be talking about data flows. See, I won't be able to explain the entire Power Platform or like common data service and Dataverse and data flows and all those things. Data flows we will be talking about maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. These are Azure. When you talk about Azure, these are generally for ID department, so I won't be talking more on that. When you talk about online services, now this is an interesting part. Now, let me tell you what all things can you do with this online services. First of all, you can get the data from any SharePoint list. From any SharePoint list. Okay. What is the list? I can explain in a brief later on. But now let me move on to Microsoft Exchange Online. So what exactly is the advantage of Microsoft Exchange Online? Let's take an example. I receive email from one person regularly. What I want to do is, as soon as he sends an email to me, I want Power BI to capture that data from that email attachment and put it in my reports. That is also possible, friends, because here you can filter the mailbox for on the basis of, like, let's say the sender who is sending the report or file, based on the subject line, based on the dates, based on attachment, and you can create the report using that as well. For one organization, what they do is they receive the update or daily file from one team. One team automatically creates a report and automatically that is sent to the recipient. So what we have done over there, we have created a Power BI where the Power BI automatically fetches the data from the attachment using this Exchange Online. Yeah, it's a very useful thing. Other than that, you can even get the data from different tools. Here there will be one website as well. Okay, that probably is in other. You can even get the data from any particular website. So one company that deals into gold, they would like to track the gold rates every day, right? So they had a website, they had a subscription. What we did is we configured Power BI to that particular website, which publishes the gold rates, and automatically gold rates are applied every day, and they can view the estimate, or they can view the data real time. Okay, so here you can even connect it to a particular website, and automatically the data gets refreshed from that website. Here we have various other script and various other connectors available, and if none of these suit your need, you can finally end your query with blank query, and you can write your own query. Okay, so there are a lot of connectors available. Some people said whether the data does it connect to tally data. So tally, there is no direct connector available, but what you can do is you can export the data of tally into Excel and then import it to Power BI. Okay, or you can even connect it through ODBC. Yes, it can be connected directly from other app system. Can, yeah. So Srinivasan, what see, can Power BI extract data directly from another ERP system? See, I have told you all the ERP that it can directly get the data from. Now there are ways, either you can connect with ODBC connector or any other blank connectors, and you can download and you can work on those data. Okay. For this particular session, like I mentioned, I am primarily going to use Excel as the database. Now here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on all, and I will click on Excel, and I'll click connect. Now, what exactly is it doing? It is now asking me where is my file, where I need to get the data from. So I browse to the folder which is ICAI Power BI. I go to Power Query, and here I will look for a file which is Excel training file. Okay. Now I am looking for this file, which is Excel training file, and I click on open, or I double click on that. And now what happens is it gives me a window. Which data do I need to pick up in Excel? Okay. Now there are various ways of getting the data from Excel. See, at the moment, what exactly is happening? It is showing me various sheets. Okay. So friends, those who are following me, what I've done is I have just clicked on get data, then clicked on Excel, and then I located the Excel file and double clicked on it. Now, after I double click on that, I see that all the sheets that I have in that Excel file are visible to me. And let's say I open this data, which is conditional formatting. Let's say I would like to import this data. When I just click on it, I get to see this null, and this is the data. I can verify whether is it the data that I would like to import, and if I think that this is the data, I can just check it and click on load or transform data. Okay, at the moment I'm going to click on load. I click on load and see the data is now being imported into Excel. Okay, see here I have imported conditional formatting from that file. So just in case if anyone is lagging behind, please let me know. Okay, all right, I'll do it again. I can either click on get data, or I have an Excel icon available here, import data from Microsoft Excel. I click on it, browse the data, which is Excel training file, click on it, and then you will get to see the list of all the sheets, right? So here I see the list of all the sheets where I can pick up the data from or get the data from. I click on conditional formatting, just check conditional formatting and click load or transform data. Okay, so at the moment, just click on load. I'm clicking X because I don't want to come out of it. I don't want to import the data because I've already imported. Now, I'm assuming that everyone has done it with me. Now, on the left hand side, see, this is a visualization. Build visuals with your data. So as soon as they imported the data, now importing is not required. The next step could be create visuals. Okay, so we will come to visuals because our data is not looking right here on the right hand side. So on the left hand side, I see the data. I click on that, and now this is the data that I get to see, which I don't like at all. So what I'm going to do is I am now going to restructure this data. Now, how do we do that? Yeah. So this data is not in the right format, as there are a lot of empty rows and empty columns, and this is not the way that I was expecting my data to look like. Okay. So what do we do now? So what are we going to do here is now it's time for me to go ahead and edit this data. So what I'll do here, I go to Home tab, and see here. If you're finding it difficult to identify what these icons are, what you can do is you can even expand this ribbon. So do you see this switch ribbons? Do you see a small arrow? You can click on it, and see, for new users it becomes really difficult to identify the icons. What you can do is you can expand this ribbon. This is how it was. If you already know what these icons are, it's good. Otherwise, expand it, and here you have various options with the name is visible. Names are visible. Okay, and that's a good view for beginners. Now here we have something called as transform data. Just in case if you have imported the data, see, you will not, it's not like Excel that you can just select the rows and right click and delete it, or you can select the columns, right click and delete it. Okay, so here what you need to do is you need to actually go ahead in the Power Query and edit the queries. All right, so what we are going to do now, we have just simply imported the data. Okay, okay, so what we need to do is we have to edit the imported data in Power Query. Okay, because that's the proper way. Now what I'm going to do, in order to make changes to the existing data, I go to Home tab and I click on Transform Data, and when I go to Transform Data, I get to see this Power Query editor. Now this Power Query editor is extremely powerful, and it is available in Excel as well. Okay, it is available in Excel as well. Okay, now what we can do is, a few people found it difficult to import the data, so I'll explain how to import the data. But see, every time uh, okay, so all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this, and I'm going to walk you through to import the data once again. Someone has written, where do we download the data from? So friends, I have been pasting the link to all of you, and I'm pasting the link once again. The data is available in this link. Please download this data, extract this data. I've already discussed this before. Okay, so I know the people, those who came in a little late, are finding it difficult because that part you must have missed, but I'm going to tell you once again. The link that I've given to all of you, you need to go to that link and see, this is the link. When you click on this link, the one that I've pasted just now, you will go to this particular link, and you have the option to click on download. When you click on download, what will happen? It will open this, it will download this particular file, zip file. Do right click on that zip file and click on extract. When you extract all these zip content, you get a folder with the name ICI Power BI. Okay, this is the folder, and within that there is one more folder which is Power Query. I am picking up all the files from this particular folder. Now, once you go ahead and once you have extracted all the data, next thing, what you need to do is, what should you do is, you should go to Power BI, and when you go to Power BI, here you click on Excel, and when you click on Excel, here we have the file which is Excel training file. You can click on Excel training file, and once you click on Excel training file, just select any particular not any, click on conditional formatting, check it, and click on load. That was the step that we did till now. Okay, I'm gonna wait for a few seconds and then we'll start again. Abhay, in 365 can't see the transform menu. Not sure what screen are you on. It's not Office 365 that you have to look into. You have to look into Power BI. Okay. Amit, you don't need to do right click anywhere. It's you just need to do left click, and you should be able to check that option and then click on load. Okay. Okay. If transform data is not visible, that means you should have edit button there. Instead of transform, you should have edit. And if you have edit, you will be able to edit the data. I mean, transform data is the renamed version, and edit is the older name. So your Power BI is not updated, mind it. So what you need to do is, after this session, please do update your Power BI. Okay. In older version, it used to be edit button. Okay, so Payal, you do not have the chat box, but you can just raise your questions on the question answer panel. Okay, so now I'm proceeding ahead. What you need to do is those who I added someone that is not able to locate the transform tab. So if you are not able to locate the transform tab, probably you have clicked on Power Query, and just check if you are on Power Query editor screen. If you're not on Power Query editor screen, then what you need to do is you need to go to Home tab, and there is an option transform data. It may happen that your screen is collapsed, and that's the reason you may not be able to identify the icon. So just expand the ribbon, and you will be able to read transform data. Okay, so what we need to do is okay, Jignesh, I will not be able to help the other member. I'm sorry. Maybe you can ask the other member to get in touch with the organizer team member who can assist how to get into the webinar. I'm very sorry about that. Okay. So what you need to do is here you have the screen, and I will click on transform data. Now let's see how do we work with transform data, and how do we restructure the data that we are in need of. Now, when you look at this green bar over here, it actually tells you the column quality. And this quality is dependent on the first 1,000 values, or first 1,000 row values. Okay. Now here, if you take a look at this particular thing, it says 101 value available. Out of that 80, out of all the values, 81% of the column values have the data, 0% error, and 24 values are empty. So that means that we have got 125 rows of data. Out of that, 101 have values, and 24 rows do not have any value. They are completely empty. Okay, so it calculates the percentage also. Now here, you see column 1, column 2, column 3. So what are the problems with this data? First few rows are blank. The rows on the right hand side are not required. All these data are not required. And the rows at the bottom, again, we have got some blank rows. So how do we ensure that the data gets imported in the right format? So in order to get the data in the right format, what we need to do is, first of all, I would like to remove all the blank top blank rows. but removing top blank rows. So I have the option here, remove rows and remove blank rows. Now what the blank rows does is it will remove the blank rows from each of the columns. So all the blank rows at the top or at the bottom have been removed. Okay. Now you see that the first two rows are blank. Why? Because there must be some data. See, there are some data in the first two rows which I don't need. I don't need these two rows also, but because they are not blank, blank rows option could not delete them. I repeat once again, in home tab, there is an option remove rows, and remove blank rows is the option here that I used. But because the first two rows are not blank, I could not remove the two rows. So what I'll do, in order to remove these two rows, I select the option under remove rows, remove top rows. Okay, when I click on remove top rows, what exactly happens here? It is asking me how many rows do I need to remove. Now when you are removing this, remember that you are hard coding. You're hard coding that from the top row it should first remove the blank rows and then remove two rows after that. Now why am I saying hard coding? I'm going to come back to that particular statement later. So here you're fixing that it will always remove only two rows. So I click OK. So now see here, two rows have been removed. Now I see that this first row, row number 1, has got all the headers. Now these are nothing but headers, but they are not being considered as a header. At the moment, the header is column 1, column 2, column 3, wherein I want employee code, first name, last name, department, region. Okay. Now when I do that, I come here and select the option use first row as headers. So when I do that, see here. Right? So what I've done, I have removed the first row. Sorry, not removed. I have promoted the first row as a header row. Okay. Now I see that there are columns on the right hand side which are of no use. I mean, I don't need them. What I'm going to do is I'll select the column number 1 and I'll hold the shift key and select the salary column. That means these are the columns that I need. Other than this, all the columns I would like to remove. So what I'm going to do, I have selected all the columns. Now I do right click and I'll select remove other column. Now remember, if I click on remove column, see what happens, these columns will get removed. But if I click on remove other columns, see what happens, other column gets removed. Right? Right, friends? Okay, Anil Pant, I have said two rows to be removed. Okay, there is a very interesting question came from Seshu Kumar. Where is the undo button in Power BI? Now the problem is there is no undo button, but don't worry, Seshu Kumar. I'm going to help you with that also. There is no undo button, so that means your mistakes cannot be forgiven. That's not the case. Don't worry. Here on the right hand side, do you see this query settings window? Look at this window, query settings on the right hand side. Now here, everything that you did so far, right? Everything that you did so far, all those steps are getting recorded. Okay. So when you see all these steps are getting recorded, so first, what did we do? It started from here. We had this data. Then what happened? We removed all the blank rows. That means what we are doing now, we are replaying what we did. When I click on remove blank rows, all the rows have been removed. Now I would like to remove two top rows. So I click here and two top rows have been removed. Now what I've done next case, I promoted this row as a header row. So that happened. Then what I did was I then removed all the other columns. So I click on other columns and remove. But by mistake, if you have done something, any mistake, what you can do is you can delete that step. I delete this step. Now, after I deleted that step, see all the columns are back. What I'll do, I'll select first column, then hold the salary, hold shift and salary. Sorry, not hold salary, hold shift and salary. After you select from employee code to salary, you do right click and select option remove other column. Okay, so there is no undo button in Power Query. Undo button is there in Power BI. So remember what is the difference? There is an undo button that's in Power BI window. What we are working in, we are working in Power Query window. So there is a difference. Power Query is embedded in Power BI. Remember that. Power Query is embedded in Power BI, and we are at the moment not working on Power BI but Power Query window. So remember that part. So anytime you think you've done a mistake, you have the option to go to that particular window and delete that step. You can delete that step. Now see, what I think is this step was unnecessary, or this particular step was unnecessary. Let's say I delete this step. Okay, so it's asking, do you really want to delete it? Yes, I want to delete it. Okay, now there is an error. I did a mistake here. So what needs to be done? So what I can do, I click here, there is no error. I click here, there is no error. I click here, sorry, I click here. In these two steps, there are errors, but when I click here, there is no error. So when there is no error, that means the problem started after the step. Okay, and I see here that first row is not a header row. Now that could be a problem. What I'll do, I go to use first row as header. When I do use first row as header, it is asking me, do you want to insert a step in between? See, till now it did not show the screen. What I did, friends, remember, I removed one promote header from this step which was there between removed top rows and channel change type 1. Here I removed one step. Now, what I need to do is, after this, I would like to insert a step. Okay, so how do I promote header? I click on this particular step, and there is an option under home tab, use first row as headers. I click on that, and it is asking me, do you want to insert a step? Yes, I do want to insert a step. Now see, it has promoted the first row as header, and now see, everything is perfect. Okay, so I think we are done. Yeah. Okay, so Amit says it seems complicated than Excel. Yes, if see, it all depends. If you're pretty good with Excel, you will find it very much similar or user friendly, because there are some clicks you got to do. There's not very difficult. Yes, in future I'm going to introduce you certain topics which could be complicated or confusing. But so far it's just clicking on the button. That's it. Okay. Anil, not sure which error message are you getting, but what you need to do is you can click from the beginning and find out the step where you're getting the error. Like I found out the step that I was getting the error from change type 1. Okay, so I went before that and did the step which was missing in there. Okay, because I deleted something in between randomly, and that's the reason I was getting the error. So you need to take care of that. Yeah. Okay, now someone is asking the file again, so I'm sending the link to the file. Okay, now the advantage of Power BI is, or Power Query is, see, in Excel, if you have to create a new report, you will have to create that report again and again. Okay, when you talk about Power BI, you do it once so that you never have to do it again. Remember, you do it once so that you never have to do it again. All right, so here in Power BI, these steps are getting recorded. That means everything is automated. Excel, sorry, not Excel, Power BI is learning these steps from you, so that when you get the new data, these steps will automatically be applied. You don't have to do it. You work in Power BI only once. That's the beauty of it. If you talk about Excel, you will have to every day create report. Okay, Now, let me give you one instance which actually happened in one of the organization. There was a person who was an executive assistant. Every day his job was to, and he was executive assistant to the sales director of an organization. And it was a large organization. So every day his executive assistant will pull the data from different systems, will create the daily sales reports and send it across to him. Right? So when every day he has to uh, share the report, he used to spend almost an hour every day to create the report, daily sales report. What we did, that was not on Power BI, but in Excel. In Excel also, you've got the same Power Query. Okay. So I helped him to create a Power Query so that next time when he wants, he can update the Power Query. So what happens now? He used to earlier spend 1 hour every day. Today, what he does, he just turns on the computer. His Excel is created in this way using Office 365 that Excel opens up automatically. So he is supposed to reach office by 9 o'clock. By 10:30 or quarter to 11, he is supposed to send an email to his boss. Right? So 1 hour he used to take to create the report. Now what happens? He comes to office at 9 o'clock. By 9:10 or 9:15, he opens his laptop and keeps the laptop standby. Automatically Excel opens, data is created, fetched using Power Query, report is created, and automatically that Excel file gets mailed to a person, the recipient. He is not even supposed to email it. And all these things are happening using Office 365 and Excel, okay, and Power Query. Without Power Query, it would be difficult. Okay, so friends, this is how you can go ahead and work with Power Query and Power BI. Now, okay, Srinivas, the name of the file was not conditional formatting. The name of the file was Excel training file. In that, there is a sheet with the name conditional formatting. Okay, so I could not find the Excel file conditional formatting. So Srinivas, I think I answered that question. Okay, so we'll go ahead. All right. So what I'm going to do now, see, my data is perfect over here. When I click on it, my data is absolutely perfect. And now I'm able to see the screen. Okay. Now someone has asked me, how do we get this formula bar from? So this formula bar, what you need to do is you can go to view, and here there is a checkbox with the name formula bar. Okay. Here there is a checkbox with the name formula bar. Now, here there are some important visuals which you should take a look at. So monospace, when you click on monospace, do you see the font, the way font has changed? Yeah, so either you can keep the regular font or you can keep the monospace font. Okay, now the second thing is column quality. So when I click on column quality, it gives you the column quality based on first 1,000 values. You just need to check. Column distribution. Now see, column distribution, it says 100 distinct value, 100 unique value, 95 distinct, 91 unique value. Yeah, you're getting all these options. Now, column profile. So here it gives you column profile as well. So when you click on a particular column, let's say I click on department column, it says these are the marketing, R&D people and sales people are the highest number of people within the organization, and rest are from this. And here you can get 100 people, error is 0, distinct is 8, unique is 1, empty string there are none, minimum number of people are from admin department and maximum are from sales department. So here you get the column quality. So all these options are there in the view tab. Other options we'll see it later. Okay, so at the moment we have seen this view tab, and these are data preview options. They are pretty good. Okay, now we go to home tab, and since we have done and the data that we have imported is that looks pretty good, what we'll do, we'll just click on close and apply. And when we click on close and apply, this was the data that originally we got imported, and now we are going to see the different data. Okay. So Deepak, your question is very well valid, but it was not talking about the minimum salary, but the minimum number of people. Okay, admin is minimum when director looks minimum from the bar chart. Okay, maybe I did not pay attention, but that was just the introductory view. Okay. Okay, so I'm getting 118 records. Maybe Anil, you have forgotten to remove the blank rows. So make sure that you come here, go to remove rows and click on blank rows. Yeah, click on blank rows and that should help you with your query. Now, see friends, what we did was we imported this data. Now see, on the right hand side, we get this entire data, that is branch, department. Now here, I did not focus on one important thing, which is data type, but don't worry, we'll discuss it later on. But Power Query automatically chooses the data type. As you can see, branch and department, first name, region, last name are text field. There are no icons next to it. Employee code is a numerical field. Salary is also a numerical field. You see summation next to it. That means you can do the calculations. Hire date. We have got a hire date column, but see hire date, how does it automatically work? So we automatically have got date hierarchy where we have year separate, quarter separate, month separate, and day separate. Okay. So how and where can we use this? Let's create some visualization. So I'm sure all of you are pretty good with Excel and you would know how to work with pivot table. So let's create some visualizations and let's see what exactly is the difference between Excel and Power BI. Some basic differences. So I go to this report view. See, now we were in this data sheet view where you can see the grid lines and these are the actual data. We go to the report view. And in report view, let's say I would like to get the department wise salary. So I select all the departments and then I select all these salaries and see here. By default, what I did was I just dragged department, I just dragged salary. If you're familiar with pivot table in Excel, this is exactly what I did, what I would do in pivot table report. And you can see here, admin, director, marketing, and all those people have got the salaries. Got it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, friends. So what do we do now? Okay. So what I'm doing is what we did here. We went to report view and we drag department, we drag salary, and automatically we get this. Now see these uh, options. These font is very small. So how do we increase the font here? Now, in order to increase the font, now see here, I can easily go to visualization pane and go to format, and I can go to column headers and I will have to increase the font for each one of them. Okay. Now I'll come to visualization, but here what you can do is you can go to view tab. Now this option may not be available if your Power Query is not updated. Just in case if you don't find the option that I'm taking it to, that means your Power Query is not updated and you got to update it. Okay. So here you need to go to view. Under the themes, do you see this color? I open this drop down. Now here there are various themes that you can use, just like you have in PowerPoint or Word, you must have used it. Yeah. Okay. So what you need to do is go to customize current theme. And here, do you see text? Here default text size is 10 point. Let me make it 14 for now. And I click OK. Okay. Now, Anil, I think you are still in Power Query tab. What you need to do is you need to click on this close and apply. Go to home tab, click on close and apply so that you can come back to Power BI. Okay. And once you're in Power BI, you all need to go to view tab, go to themes, this drop down. here you will see the option which says customize current theme. If this option is not there, you need to update Power BI. Okay. When you click on customize current theme, go to text and increase the font to 14. Now this is the font style for the entire Power BI. So there won't be anything visible which is less than 14 point font. Okay. So what you have done is you have updated. Now that doesn't mean that you cannot override it. You can still go back and override these settings. You can increase and decrease font, but that needs to be done individually. Now, how do we do individually? That is also what I'm going to talk about. Okay. So this is what I've done, and you need to click on apply and come back to the previous screen. Okay. Now, okay. What you need to do now is just in case if this particular option is not available, so what you need to do is you need to click on this visualization. Now selecting that visualization is very important. Now don't click on the numbers, otherwise see what happens, only one option is highlighted and others have got grayed out. Now that's a highlighting feature of Power BI, which I'll explain later. I'll click on finance, and I'll see when you click on finance, it gets highlighted and others get grayed out. I click on it once again, everything is visible now. So I click on it here. Once I click on it here, you need to go to view tab. Sorry. Once I click on it here, you need to go to this visualization tab. Now, visualization, here you get to see all the charts and everything. Here you see field section. Pay attention here. Here you see field section. So I'm just hiding this filter section for now so that I get more screen here. I click on this field section, and then I have this option that says format. I click on format, and now after I click on format, here I have the option for column header. So I go to column header, and now see I will go ahead and increase the column header. Do you see here? This column header is increasing. The rest of the options are not increasing. I can change this column header from 14 to 10. Like I said, whatever settings that I've done, those are the default settings, but I can override those settings by making individual changes. So either here I can make it 14. Now let me so here I have these options, so I've done it. Yeah. Now next thing, column header, I want some color to be given here. So font color, I would like to keep it white, and background color, let's say, sorry, for some reason it is not allowing me to select the color. Yeah, so see, font color has become white, so this text has disappeared. Let me change the background color and let me keep it red. Okay, pink, by mistake I selected pink. Okay, so this is red. So that is what I've done. Okay, similarly you can go on and make changes to values here, and values also you have another font size. Yeah, here is the font size, you can make a increase or decrease. Then you have total row, that is the last row, you can go ahead and increase and decrease the font size for that also. So you need to then go ahead and do it individually. Okay, okay, friends, am I going slow, or is the pace okay? Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, so many people have said that paste is okay. Bhairavi says it's fast, others are saying it's asking me to go a bit slow. Okay, so friends, to be very honest, I'm going extremely slow, and uh, okay, so I'll repeat once again. What I did was, you need to click on the visualization, go to this format tab, and over here you need to actually find the sections. And there are sections like general, grid view, and multiple sections are available there. You need to find out which section do you want to edit. Okay, so if I have to edit the column header section, I go to column header, and here we have font color, background color that I changed. Then font family, if you want to change the font family, You want to choose Arial black, which is the dark one. You can go ahead and do that. You can change the font. Then if you want to change the values also, you can go to values. You can change the font color, background color, alternate font color. Yeah, alternate background color. So I don't like gray, let's say, right? I like this as a light color. See, the reports have changed. Let me change this alternate background color. Since I've chosen that, let me choose something darker. Okay, so this is what you can do the formatting. So this format option is available. Now here, okay, uh, what we need to do here is either you make changes here or you make changes here. But if your office, sorry, Power BI is not updated, you are not going to find this option. Okay. So anyways, so this was just a basic formatting option that we did with Power BI, and we created first chart. That is, this is the table. Now let me talk about one more thing. Okay. Now see, what I need to do is I would like to see the chart of this table. So I want to see the values as well as the chart next to it. How do we do it? See how simple is it? Just copy Control C this visual, Control V, and what you're doing? You have now created a duplicate visual. Okay. All I did, this particular visual, I copied it and pasted right here. Okay. Now what I need, this particular visual, I would like to see it in chart. Choose any particular chart. I would like to see it in pie chart. See, pie chart automatically got created. Not good one. Then I go to clustered column chart. Not good one. Let me expand it a little bit. Sorry. I'm expanding it here. So what I did was I clicked here, copied and pasted. Then I can choose any particular chart. See, this is the chart or this is the chart. I select anything and it changes. See how simple is it? This is the chart. So there are various charts that I can actually work with. How simple is it? Okay. So what we are going to do now is okay. So what we are going to do now is we are going to get back to a Power Query. All right. Or else we'll do one thing. We started at 6 o'clock and it's almost 1.5 hours, right? We'll take a 10 minutes break. Okay. But before you go ahead and take a 10 minutes break, I'm going to give you a power tip. And after every break, I'm going to give you some power tip. Okay. And that is going to be something different from Power BI because we will be learning Power BI for long. So I'm going to give you a power tip, which is actually going to tell you how do we capture the screenshot from a website. Okay. What you generally do is you capture the screenshot from you do print screen and then you take a paste it somewhere and then you resize it. If you're on a website, how to take a screenshot, that I'm going to tell you after the break. Okay, so some power tip will be there after every break. Let's take a break now. Thank you. And it's a 10 minutes break, friends. 10 minutes.
Pradip sir? Hello? Pradip sir?
Yes.
Switch off the phone.
नहीं नहीं, मैंने 10 मिनट का खाली ब्रेक दिया.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Hi friends, are we all back?
Hi,
Let's
Pradeep.
get started.
Sure.
Hello? Okay, thank you. So I think I have a question here, how to copy table. Josina, can you explain your question? Okay, so Josina, if you come back, please rewrite your question because I could not understand that much. So our part tip was, how do you take a screenshot from a website or any web page? So if you're using, let me start with the tip. If you're using the Edge browser, it has got a very interesting feature. You click on the three dots here at the top left, and here we have the option web capture. When you click on web capture, see how easy is it to take the screenshot. I select this particular section and I click copy. And now I want to paste it in Word document or wherever I want to paste it. I can simply open it and paste it here. Control V. See, this is the screenshot. Yeah, how easy is it? But this is only available in the latest web browser, which is Edge browser. So I repeat it once again. Click on these three dots, click on web capture, select whatever you want to capture. See here, I would like to capture these three things. I select it and click copy, and I come here, paste, Control V. Got it? Such a simple feature. Okay. Print screen, Windows print screen gives you the option to open the snipping tool or all those things. This is one option which is different. I use it quite frequently. See, generally, let me tell you where have I recently used it. I open WhatsApp on my web page on the browser. So whenever I have to take any particular screenshot from the section, I do it, and this utility is available in the browser. So all the utility Windows Shift S, that is the snip and sketch, all those things are available. But here, this is something different that I have shown. Let's come back to Excel. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is I am now going to come back to Power BI. So what I'll do in Power BI right now is I see some question how to color heading of the table and all. So like I mentioned, to the coloring heading and all, you need to go to this tab, which is report view. Over there you have this format. You first select the visualization, go to format, and then choose whatever color that you want to change. Okay, so okay, anyways, so now what we are going to do next thing is we'll come back to our Power Query, and let's learn something more in Power Query. All right, so let's import another data, this sort of data. Okay, let me first show you the data that we have, or else let me first talk about what sort of data is accepted or managed in Power BI and what sort of data is difficult to be managed. So here I have a file which is good data and bad data. Okay, uh, when I double click on good data and bad data, here I'm going to tell you 11 different ways that you need to organize the data in Excel file so that Power BI works pretty well with such data. Okay, so we have imported the file, but not every data can be imported, or if it can be imported, it cannot be used for summary purpose. So you need to be a little careful of what should be the data and how should the data be. So your data should be ideally like this. Yeah. Now all column must have headings and all data must be filled properly structured table. Now you would say all data or tables are like this. What's the difference? What's the big deal? Let's see the big deals in the next section. None of the headers should be blank. Okay. None of the headers should be blank, otherwise Power BI will find it difficult to locate the header column, and it may use extra rows to consider them as a header. Okay. Next thing is your column header should not have duplicate headers. So you cannot have two columns with the same name as date. Remember that part. Either change the date as purchase date. Now it should not be in two columns, two rows. Just change it to purchase date like this. Purchase date, and here it is expiry date. Expiry date. Right now, this data can be imported because it is not there is no duplicate header. Now, when I say that, I'm sorry, I by mistake said that this data cannot be imported. It can be imported even if it has the same name in the two columns. But what Power BI will do automatically is it will keep this date as date, but it will rename this as date 2. Yeah, your data can be imported, but it will rename this date as date 2. Next thing, you go to merge cell. Now here your Excel data should not have any merge cell. Now let me tell you, merge cell is not supposed to be used when you in the raw data. It can be used, or it's a good feature to be used in the final report or summary, which is not going to be worked upon. It is more to do with aesthetics of Excel than to do with the features of Excel. Okay. Now then we have formula. Now here, by default, when you import any data in Power BI, headers are always text. Okay. Now, if you have created a formula and if you have a formula in Power BI, you need to remove that formula to be able to import it in Power BI. Okay. That creates an issue. Then we have one meaning. Now, this is more to do with the structuring of the data. Most of you do not create the data, so it may not be applicable, but just telling you that your column should have one meaning. Let's say here we have vehicle type, then insurance type, then other informations available. Now, that is not how the data is supposed to be managed. So here you have year, month, then you have, let's say, insurance type, then you can write another column as vehicle type, and then amount. Yeah, that you should not have too many empty blank cells or empty cells. If you have it, you should drag and drop. This particular activity is ideal to be done. Okay. Second thing, here the data type, we have not discussed data type as yet in Power BI, but we will discuss. But here, just understand that this is a mixture of number and text. So what exactly Power BI does, it will not consider this column as number. So you will have no significance of having these numbers. These will be treated as text. And it's not Excel where you can simply convert a text to number. Data type is an important part here, which I'm going to discuss. So make sure that either a column should have all the text or all the numbers. You should not have mixtures. Yeah. So this is nothing but one type data. Then we have no subtotal. So this is a summary table. This is not the raw data. See, most of the time I've seen when someone comes to me to create a Power BI report and I ask them for the data, they give me the summary data. Now, summary data is not the one that needs to be used. You need to use the raw data, the data that is actually coming or downloaded from the system. Okay, which does not have empty cell, which does not have merge cells, which does not have the total row and stuff like that. Now there are some custom like in SAP also you can extract the report in a summary format. Now that should not be used. Basically, the CSV kind of data, the comma separated value or TXT files, those are the right data type. Yeah, that again, it depends how the data structure is available. But make sure that you do not import any summary report into the table. You should get the raw data report like this. Yeah, so make sure if you get the summary, let's say if I import this data, now what further summary can be generated out of this? No summary, right? But if you have the data like this, you can easily find out how many loan funds do you have, or in 2013 what is the total of loan funds. You can easily do the summary part. Here it becomes a little difficult. Now this is again, if you're not maintaining the data and if you're downloading the data, this may not be relevant for you, but still let me tell you that I've seen at times that few people color some data and the meaning of that color is only known to them. Okay. So what you need to do is, rather than coloring the data, write the meaning of that color. It will make more sense in Power BI, because Power BI cannot read colors. Now this is the main problem why I brought you into this file. Most of the time, especially for finance guys, I've seen the data goes horizontally. Now what does that data goes horizontally mean? If a new data to be added, they won't add a row, but they'll probably add a column. Mostly your PNL and all those stuff, not PNL exactly, but most of their data to create PNL, they create like this. Data grows horizontally. That means this is the data type. Sorry, this is the particular or name or topic or entries. Then here, this is the Jan data. Then this is Feb, March, April, May, June, July. This actually creates a lot of issues. Your data should not grow horizontally, but vertically. Yeah. Now, how do we deal with such problem that we are going to see in the next exercise? Okay. So make sure your data should not grow horizontally, but vertically. Because see, the problem that I've seen with such data is, this is, if you have to convert this data from horizontal to vertical, this is 10 to 40. I wrote it. Then I copied this and transpose it here. Then first row copy, transpose it here. Then I take up the next issue, I copy it, paste it here. Then I transpose this column here below. Then I select this row and transpose this column here. And so on and so forth. I'll keep going till the end of the data. Okay. Now, so what do we do here is, this entire horizontal data going to be transformed into vertical data like this. How do we do that? We'll see it in Power BI. The last thing, I have often seen the data, most of the data that we get in the summary format has got multiple headers, multi-row headers. Yeah, you should never have multi-row headers, but you should ideally have single row header. Okay, make sure that this should be your data, and if you both the rows are important, better change the meaning to like this. At times, the data at the top, these headers are not actually the headers, but they are the data itself. Let me give you an example here. Yeah, this 2013 and 14, it should be a header. It is the data. Yeah, right. That means if I want to find out what happened in 2013 or what happened in 2014, or if I want to subtract 2013 from 14, then it can be easily populated if I use a pivot table. But this data cannot be used easily in pivot table report. Okay. So make sure that this 2013 and 14, at most of the time, we create headers which are actually the data. As an example, if you remember, when I explained this particular problem, I said most of the data, financial data, here you have particulars and then you have Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June. So that Jan, Feb, March is not the header. It is not supposed to be the header. It should be the data itself. Yeah. So make sure that we manage it properly. We keep the data properly, and single header row is very important here. Yeah, either I have seen people using this multi-row header like this or multi-row header like this. These are not a good data for Power BI. What is the solution then? We are going to now discuss the solution. We have discussed the problem. Let's discuss the solution. So here I have a cross-tab data, exactly what we discussed just now. Cross-tab data means the data which has got the left header as well as top header, okay, which is more like a pivot table report. Now here, the problem is exactly the same thing. I have Jan, Feb, March and all those stuff that goes continuous till December. Now this Jan, Feb, March, these are to be included as a data and it should be a month column. Okay. And then this data is to be created in a vertical fashion. So what I need to do here is, I would like to have the data like this. So this is my data again. If you remember, I have done this, I copied this. Then I would like copy and paste it here. I paste it, paste special like this. Then this is going to be months and data. Similarly, I'll take up this thing and again transpose it here, and that is how I'm going to create the complete data. Now, this is something which is pretty lengthy task. I've got to do a lot of mundane tasks, which I don't want to do. So what are we going to do? What is the solution that we have then? I'll simply import this into Power BI. Let's see how do we do that. So I close this file. Now, friends, let's understand what I'm asking you to do is get the data in ICI Power BI in Power. There is a folder with the name Power Query. Within that, this file is going to be used in Power BI. Don't open this file, right? If you have opened this file, close it, because if this file is open, you cannot access the data into Power BI. You have to actually fetch the data into Power BI. What we are going to do? Home. Again, we have to get the data from Excel. So I click on Excel and I click on Cross tab and I click Open. Okay. So this is ICI Power BI folder. Within that, there is a Power Query folder, and then I double click on Cross tab. And now I have the sheet one. So this is now picking up the data properly and perfectly. I don't need to go further. I check this box and I click on, this time let me not click on load. I'll click on transform data. Now, when you click on load, the data gets loaded and then you have to go to Power Query. But if you click on transform data, now if you do not have transform data, you will have an edit button. Either transform data or edit button, anything you can use. Okay, so I click on edit or transform and that takes me to Power Query. Okay, so here is the Power Query window that I have directly come into, right? Please do it till here, then I'll proceed. I'll wait for a few seconds. So here there is a question: if we change the data, can charts be automatically changed? So Neha, your question is very well valid, and like I said, your Power BI actually has a component called as Power Query, which learns or which records all the steps that you have done. Okay, so whatever data that you have here, what you need to do is sorry, if you change the data, what happens is you can just click on refresh and all the steps that you have done in Power Query will be performed automatically once again. Yeah, it will be performed automatically once again, and the chart will also change. I'm going to give you an example right now after we have done this particular exercise. Okay, just wait for a while. In sheet 3 there is a blank cell. Will that be an issue? Yes, it will be an issue because Power Query will not keep any column unnamed, and it will by default give the name to that particular column. Okay, now let's come to this particular screen, and I think everyone is on the screen right now. I'll repeat it once again. All you got to do to come to the screen is click on Excel and it will automatically open this. Double click on cross tab file. When you click on cross tab file, it will finally open a window. I think, yeah, open a window. In that, just click on edit or transform data. Okay. Now, Ashish Desai, I'm going to take you to that. That is what, whatever we perform, those steps get added. Yeah, we're going to do exactly that right now. So now see, this is the column and this is the column. Now understand what I want to do. I do not want to transform these two columns. I don't want these two columns to change, but I would like to transpose all the columns from Jan to December. I click shift. So I go to Jan, I click on Jan, then go to December, shift and December. So from Jan to December, all the columns have been selected. I do right click, and now here I have the option unpivot columns. Now see how simple is it? I click on unpivot column and see the task that was supposed to take at least 2 to 3 minutes now has been done in just a second or fraction of second. And Ashish Desai, you asked a question, how can I add a step in applied steps? See, as I did one step, the step got added here. Okay. So I believe all of you have done it. let me do it again. I delete the step, and I click on Jan. I select the Jan column, go to the last, select the December column. So I have selected all the columns from Jan to December. Now I'll simply do right click, and do not right click on the cell. Click on the header, because see, now when I did right click, the cell got selected and all the columns got deselected. So make sure you do it right way. So I selected everything and do right click on the column header, and now I go to this option that says unpivot columns. So when I click on unpivot column, I've got the columns like this. So I double click over here and name it as months, and I double click over here and name it as data. Okay, so I've got months, I've got data. Now the steps have got added, and this is a perfect table for me. Okay, now I click on apply and close and apply. Got it? Okay. So here, so friends, here what we have done is we have now gone ahead and added one data. We have created a transpose column. Now what we are going to do is, let's check. So I've been telling you that Power Query records all the steps. Power Query records all the steps. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make some changes in cross tab. Okay. Now I'll write 102, and purposely writing ICAI so that we can notice that these are the new columns. And I'm going to write a column. See, I'm just adding this column data. So you can add any random data. I'm using a function rand between, and I'm going to add data from 500 to 1000. Okay. So I've purposely added big data here, and I paste as a value. Okay. So what you can do is, you can just select any data ICI, just column header, and just add any random data. And now I save this file and close this file. Let's see what happens now. After saving and closing, I go to Power BI, and this is sheet 1. If you can see, this is the data that I have. Okay, this is the vertical data. Okay, I click on these 3 dots. So what I did, I made some changes in Excel. Then I come here and I click on refresh data. When I click on refresh data, see what happens here. I should have something with the name ICAI. For some reason, my Power BI has frozen. Yeah, it's now responding again. So see here, ICAI, all the data from 600 to 500, all the data are available here. You can see it. Perfect. So this is the perfect data. Okay. So what do we do here? Okay. Yes, Power BI will work if the raw data contains formula, but it will not accept the formula. Okay. Yeah. So what we need to do is, yeah, Pratik has asked a question. Can we refresh everything? You can either click here, And what you can do is you can refresh data. That will refresh only one sheet at a time. But if you come here and click on refresh, every table gets refreshed. The conditional formatting and sheet 1. Okay. Okay. So what do we do here? So now this is how we transform the data. Now next we'll take a next example. Uh, Now here, what we are going to do here is we are going to do an example of doing VLOOKUP. Now, all of you know what is VLOOKUP. Yeah. If you don't know, I'm sorry, I won't be explaining what is VLOOKUP. You can just Google it. I'll explain the concept, but I won't explain what exactly is VLOOKUP and how to work with it. Can the transform data be exported back to Excel? Yeah, that's a very good question, Srinivasan. Whatever transformations that you do in Power BI cannot be exported back to Excel. Okay, but that may not be completely true, because if you're using Power BI service, what you can do is you can actually go ahead and import the data into Excel from directly powerbi.com. Now, this question has got multiple answers, and maybe after I answer that question completely, you might get confused. But let me make an attempt. When I go to data, see the get data, and here I have the option to get the data directly from Power BI. So I will still not get the data, but I can create the summary on that data. So data cannot be downloaded in actual form. However, there is one more way that you can copy the data. See here. This is the data. This is a summary. I can click here and I say export data. And when I click on export data, see it gets saved as a CSV. Let me show you what that CSV file is. Data.csv. Okay. So I get something called as data.csv, and let me open that data.csv. Data.csv. I click on data.csv and see this is going to be the CSV file. So this is the data file, right? So now what you are saying, I said, no, you cannot export the data. Yeah. Now let me tell you what exactly did I mean. If this data set goes more than 1,000 rows, you cannot export that data. Up to 1,000 rows you can export the data. So what I did was, this data I wanted to be in Excel, so it just clicked on this visual and clicked on export data, and I could export the data. Okay, but it cannot be more than 1,000. So only sample data can be exported. Yeah. So as I mentioned, you can directly get the data from powerbi.com. Just in case if you have Office 365, you can directly get it, or you have to install a separate add-on. If you're not using Office 365 Excel, you have to get a separate add-on, and that add-on will contain in using that add-on you can get the data from Power BI, but you cannot fetch the complete raw data. You can just fetch the data which is helpful for you to create the summary, right? Now, the second thing I said, you can export the data by going to the actual visualization. Now here you can go ahead and export, but you actually wanted this particular data. Again, this data can also be exported by going to transform data. And after you go to transform data, this is the data that you have. You can select Control A, Control C, and you can go ahead and paste it, Control V. Okay. So now again, I contradict my statement that you could still copy and paste the transform data, but again for this the limit is 1,000 records. See, column profiling based on 1,000 rows. So whatever it considers only first 1,000 rows. So if this data sheet goes beyond 1000, you will not be able to fetch the rest of the data. So the limit is 1000. So if your data set lies within 1000, you can still copy and paste the data. Okay. So I go ahead and click on close and apply. So somebody is asking you how different a CSV file from an Excel. See, Excel, CSV is just nothing but a text file. I'll show you a CSV file. The CSV data.csv that we downloaded, this is a CSV file. I do right click, open with Notepad. See, this is the CSV file. CSV means comma separated value. So after every value, there will be a comma. That's the reason it is called as CSV, comma separated value. Can the end users can transform the data based on report? Yeah, depends. How have you shared the data? I mean, there are different ways of sharing the data that I'll come to it later. Yeah, I'll answer this question later. We cannot export in Power BI, but it can be if we are working in Power Query in Excel. Mike, would you like to rephrase your question, please? Mango Agriwala, please rephrase your question. I could not understand it properly. Okay. So meanwhile, I'll proceed ahead. I'll come to your question again. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, yeah. So this is the data that we have, and this is how we are working with it. So I think I've answered your question. Can we get the data into Excel or not? So I've answered all the questions, all the ways that you can possibly bring the data back to Excel. But there is no formal or no way you can actually export the entire visualization into Excel. That's not possible. Okay. Now we'll come to the rest of the part later. Let's go to Excel. And I was talking about VLOOKUP. So how do we do VLOOKUP? That I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, Philip, that's not possible. There is no extended paid version. Microsoft doesn't want you to go from Power BI to Excel. Otherwise, the purpose of Excel, so Power BI is a challenge. Okay, so what is the limit that Power BI can hold the data? See, I have worked with 7 crore records. Power BI can hold that much huge amount of data. So it is not limited to 5,000, or Excel has got 10 lakh rows. But if you go ahead and, okay, so I'll do one thing. I'll show you something, the real power of Power BI. So I'm opening a separate Power BI. I'm not going to be using the same Power BI. And see, Power BI actually takes a good size on your RAM. So it increases the load on your RAM. So your system should be good. I mean, at least 8 GB system, 8 GB RAM should be there on your system. Even 4 GB is good, but Power BI will work a little slow. See, I am opening second instance of Power BI. It's taking time because I've got 8 GB RAM. So I should have actually gone for 16 GB RAM to be able to use it properly. But anyways, doesn't matter. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to import the data, and see, Power BI can also hold huge data. Now I'm going to open a huge data, which Excel cannot. By the way, now Excel can using the Power Pivot feature. Now see, here we have this data, and I'll go to this one. I go to, what does this mean? Okay. Do you see the size of this file? 770 MB of data. I am now planning to import in Power BI. So 770 MB of data. Okay, now there is a problem. This data is not available on my system. Okay, I'll do one thing, friends. Let me download this data from Power BI, and I'll explain it to you later. Let me close and open it again. For some reason. I'll come back to it. There's some problem with my OneDrive account, which is not allowing me because there is. Okay. So I'll just download that file. Okay. So this is going to take a while to download. Let me continue further, and I shall explain this huge data little later. Okay. Okay. All right. So not tomorrow. I'll explain towards the end of this program, and that will let me do that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is it is getting downloaded, and as soon as it is done, I'll come back to this particular screen. Okay, so let me close this for now and come back to VLOOKUP. Now, when we talk about VLOOKUP, yeah, when we talk about VLOOKUP here, as we all know, VLOOKUP always happens between two data sets, okay, where we have data set 1 and we have data set 2. So what we have to do actually is from data set 1, we have to get the data into data set 2, okay. By the way, let me just ask this question. How many of you do not understand VLOOKUP or do not know what is VLOOKUP? Is there anyone? Just write yes or no. Okay. So being CS, I'm hoping and I assume that you all know, as most of the people have written that they know. Although I've got only 10 to 12 responses, but I'm assuming that we all are aware of it. So I'm not explaining what is VLOOKUP. I'm directly going ahead with our example. So let's take an example in our Excel training file. Now, along with this, I'm going to explain one challenge also with Power BI. So we have this ICAI thing. This is the problem. And here, this is Excel training file. So what I want to do, let me just explain what is the challenge here. Where do we have to apply VLOOKUP? So I'm just opening this Excel file. And here we have the sheet. Okay, we have the sheet which is lookup, and next to that there's a table which is table array. So this table now need to be imported in Power BI. Now see what is the problem. Okay, first all of you please take a look at the screen. I'm going to explain the problem. You don't need to perform it along with me. Do not perform it, just see what is the problem. Okay, and I'll explain the solution later. So this is the Excel training file, and I will go ahead and click on Excel. I go to training file, sorry, not this one, ICAI desktop. Yeah, this is the file, Power Query. And here there is an Excel training file. I repeat, do not perform the steps with me. Just observe the problem. I'm going ahead and looking for a sheet with the name tab array. So PQRST tab array. I check the box, and here is the tab array. Now see the problem. This is the table, employee data incentive is something that I want to import. Okay, this I want to import. But how much clutter do I have to remove? Remove all the top rows, remove the rows from the left hand side, remove the rows from the right hand side, remove the rows from the bottom, do I really need to do so much hard work to get the data from Excel? So what I'm saying is your Excel file may have the format like this, the one that I'm showing right now. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah. So now all of you can open this Excel training file. Let's open this Excel training file. And all I'm saying is if you have multiple data in one single sheet, how will you pick and choose one table out of several tables from that sheet? You got the point? I have multiple tables, this table, this table, this another table, there could be another three to four table. I have to pick and choose only one out of them or two, maybe, not all. How do we do it with minimum number of steps? Now here, there is a feature of Excel that comes into play that we are going to see just now. So what are we going to do and how are we going to do it? See, in Excel, there is a feature called as table. Now, those who do not know what is table in Excel, I'm not going to explain. I have a video on my YouTube, right? So I would like to tell you all that I am also a YouTuber and I have my YouTube channel. Okay, so here there is a video. I'm going to paste the link to that video on my on the screen. Okay, there is something called as table. I forgot where is, yeah, Excel table. So what you can do is you can just copy and paste this link and save it somewhere so that you can understand what are tables in Excel, and I'm sure you will love this feature. Trust me, friends. Where is that gone? Sorry, I'm trying to locate the chat window here. Yeah, I'm pasting the link. The only thing is I seem to have lost the chat window. 1 second.
Look at on the right side.
No, it was there, but I think I have closed it or something. I'm not able to open that chat window now. Can you please ping me, ma'am? The one who responded just now, just ping me on the chat. Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, got it. Thank you. Yeah. So here is the link of my YouTube channel, and if you want to browse the entire YouTube channel, then this is my YouTube channel link, and the previous one is the link of the what do we say? Link of the video that I want you all to watch. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so those who want to learn more about the table, that's an excellent feature, and that is one of the best feature that you should know. You should know if you use Excel. You should know. If you don't know, watch that video. Okay, so I'm coming back to Power BI. Now we are going to convert this into table. Now, why should we convert this into table? Table makes your data flexible. That means if you add number of rows, how many of you have copied and pasted the formula or dragged the formula below as the data increases? That need not be done if you use table. So how do we convert this data source into table, this much data source into table? Now, Excel is a smart application. You don't need to select the data range. Just select one single cell and press Control T, Control T for table. Press Control T, automatically this dialog box opens up, which is called as create table. Okay. Make sure that this box is checked, which says my table has headers, that because my table has headers, if you don't check it, Excel will automatically create another header, right? So I've created this table and now I click OK. Now when I click OK, automatically this gets a color, right? You can anytime come here and change the color, whatever you like. So I've changed the color. See how easy is it to change the color of the entire table. Now I can even give a name to this table. Now, how do we give a name to this table? The moment we press Control T, automatically the entire data got selected and got colored. After that, just select any one cell, or you may select the entire table. Also, at the top right corner, you may look at this review. After review view, there is a new tab. I have plenty of other tabs in between. So there's a new tab which is called as design, or it would be table design. Okay, right? Now, when we go to table design, here you have the name as table 1. You can change it to tab tab. Okay, so this tab is the name. Now you will recognize in Power BI with the name tab. Let's now, so what I did, I converted this data into table. I don't think there is any doubt on how do we convert the data into table. Okay, if there is any, let me know. Okay, now after we have converted the data into table, what are we going to do now is we are now going to go ahead and import this table into Power BI. So I close Excel. Make sure you close Excel, because if the Excel is open, you will not be able to import the data. Okay, so those who have not been able to do it, just locate the sheet tab array. In that, the middle table, just select the cell and press Control T. Automatically the entire data gets a color. Okay, now the name of that table would be by default table 1. Now how do we import the data into Power BI? So I am in Power BI right now. Okay, now I go to Excel, and after I go to Excel, I'll double click on the same file, which is Excel training file. When I double click on the Excel training file, it will open the window with all the sheets, and now see, this is the table. Observe the look and feel of this table. Here I have a blue bar at the top. That's the table, and these are the various sheets. So in Power BI, you can have a distinguished symbol for a table. All the tables will be top. So understand, Power BI gives more priority to a table than a sheet. The sheet needs to be cleared. But when you talk about table, see, I've just named it as table. And see, if I go to tab array, this is how your actual sheet looks like. If I had imported this sheet, this is how the table this sheet would get imported, and I'll have to clear this mess to just select these rows and column data. But if I go to tab, this is the table that I have. Okay, I check it. Now table is perfectly fine. I don't need to edit it. I'll simply click on load. Okay, I click on load, and now see friends, here I have this tab data and I have this conditional formatting. Now before I move on, see, this really bothers me. I forgot to rename it. So I would like to rename this table. I don't want to keep it as conditional formatting, so I rename it as EMP data. Okay, EMP data, and this is table. This is sheet 1. I rename it to cross tab or unpivot unpivot data. Okay, I named it as unpivot data. So I've renamed it purposely so that whenever I come to it, I would know what exercise has been done in that particular tab. Okay, now what I want to do is, this is my tab and this is employee data. I would like to fetch, here I have employee codes. Based on these employee codes, I would like to fetch the first name, last name, department. All these column details needs to be fetched except employee code. First name, last name, department, region, branch, hire date, salary. Everything needs to be fetched, and I need to be able to identify who these people are who are actually getting the incentive. And that's what we do as VLOOKUP, don't we? Yeah, that's the VLOOKUP in Excel. Most of the people would also know index mat function, which is a complicated version of Excel. And now, for your information, Microsoft has released for Office 365 users, Microsoft has released XLOOKUP, a new video on XLOOKUP. If you want to know about XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP, I would encourage you to watch another video on my YouTube channel. Now see, in this YouTube channel, I have actually done a 15-day series, 15-day in during the lockdown. It was completely free during the lockdown since 15th of April to 16th of 1st of May. 15th April to 1st of May, I did 15 days free Office 365 training program. Every day I did it, and almost 700 to 1500 people attended that training program every single day. Okay, so here is one video on see, I would encourage you to come to this video, dynamic arrays in Excel. That's a new feature. Then Excel, then Power Query, and Power Pivot. These 4 videos I would urge you to look at. 4 hours of free training on Excel. Okay, you can just watch this video. I've already pasted the link of my YouTube channel. You can just go there and browse it. This is amongst the first 5 videos only. Okay. Now, so what I'm going to do now is, okay. So here, I would like to get all the data over here. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to now go to transform data, right? So I have this table. Now this is going to be done in Power Query. So I click on the tab and I go to transform data. Anyways, I'm already in transform data. Let me come back again here. So this is the data. I go to home and click on transform if it was too fast. When I go to transform data, now I need to be on the table where I'm going to apply VLOOKUP. So I'm going to apply VLOOKUP in tab. I want the data here. Okay. And I want to get the data from this table. I said I would like to get the data from this table. So I click on table, and now here we are going to use another feature. So in home tab, on the right hand side, I have the option that says merge queries. I have merge queries. I'll select this option. Remember, I'm not in Power BI window. I'm in Power Query Editor window. So if you're not able to find merge query, you got to check two things. Are you in Power Query window? And if you are, you need to be in home tab. On the right hand side, you get merge queries. So I click on merge queries. When I click on merge queries, what happens here? I get a window, and here this is one table that has been identified because that was the current table. What is the other table? Because for VLOOKUP, we need to have two tables. So I click here and I click on employee data. Okay, so here is tab, here is employee data. I would like to match both. So this is employee ID, this is employee code. And now, why am I selecting this? What I'm informing Power BI that this employee ID must be matched with this employee ID. Okay, because what VLOOKUP works is common column. It identifies the common values in both the tables. Yeah, so here is the common column, that is employee ID and employee code. So I've selected both, and now what I'm going to do, okay, so before I close window, let me explain few more additions that this merge query can do, which your VLOOKUP cannot. Yeah, here we have something called as fuzzy matching option. This fuzzy matching means, let's say you are not sure about the spellings in both the table, but you know that there could be 80% chances that spelling could be mistake. So this is a rough estimation, right? So here, when you actually talk about fuzzy lookup, here you need to actually select. So when you go to fuzzy matching option, so it is asking, if I check this option, it is asking you what is the similarity threshold. So 1 means 100% match. That means there is no spelling mistake errors, spelling errors. Okay. So if you are very sure that it is spelling, no spelling error, go with 1. Otherwise, 80%, like I said, 80% means 0.80. That is 20% error is tolerable. You can tolerate that much amount of error. If you make 50%, so it will give you more combination. Okay, so you need to be good with estimation, that what estimation rule that you need to choose. If you make it 0, that means it will not match any word with any, it will give you all the combinations of both the matching. Okay, so make sure that it should be higher threshold to match the perfect values, but again, depending on how many spelling errors are there. And there is also one option, transform table. Okay, now what is transform table? Let me give you an example. So I am not going to give you exercises on this. You can explore it later. I'm just giving you verbal explanation on what these features are. Okay, so if you have given 80% match, your VLOOKUP will be done. Even if there are any spelling mistakes, it will find the closest match to that spelling. Okay, but let's say you're not going ahead with this similarity threshold. You are going to work with transform table. Now, what is transform table? Let's take an example. I have a data sheet of all the airports, right? And the flights to that airport. The other data sheet that I have does not have airport name, but airport code, right? Like Kolkata. Kolkata is written as CCU, right? So nobody can imagine KOLKATA is known as CCU. That is used. It is based on the previous name, that is Calcutta. Okay, so Kolkata and CCU, there is no match. So even if you give 20% threshold, it will still not match, right? So what would we do in that case? So here this transformation table comes into picture. Now what is that transformation table? You create a table which is called as transformation table, in which one column will contain all the airport names and the other column contains all the airport codes. Okay. Now in one data sheet you have all the airport names and the flights. Other sheet you have only airport codes and the cost of or whatever other details about properties of that airport. Properties as in what all stores are there in that airport. So what you can do now is there is a third table which is called as transformation table, because the first table does not have airport codes. The second table does not have airport names. But this table has got both airport name and the code for that airport. So what will happen here? Let me give you an example here. So let's say I use this one. I use this one. So this particular table, as I'm explaining. Okay, that's what I'm trying to explain. So this is the table, or else let me do it in Excel only. It will be easier for you all to understand. Okay. So friends, let's understand that these are different airports. Okay, airport names. Okay, Mumbai, Chennai. All right. Now these are the names of the airport. Mumbai Airport. Mumbai Airport is called as Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminal (CSTF). Okay, let it be. This is the way. Okay. Now which state do they fall in? Let's say Maharashtra. This is West Bengal. This is Tamil Nadu. Okay. Another airport code. Now I do not remember the airport codes of all, so I'm just going to write airport codes. Okay. Let's say it's MUM. This is CCU. This is Chennai CHE. Okay. Now these are various cost of that airport, like entry fee. Let's say randomly I type some entry fee. Okay. So these are random entry fee. Okay. Now, can you tell me what is the common? If I have to do VLOOKUP in between both this table, I will never be able to do it. Okay. But let's say I have a secondary table where I have this airport code name and airport codes available. Okay. So I forgot. Okay. Okay. So here is the airport name and code. This is the secondary table. So what happens here? I am using this table. So in Excel, what you would do? First, you will do VLOOKUP, this VLOOKUP with this one, and these airport names you will bring it here. And then based on this, sorry, these codes you brought it here. Then based on this, you will do VLOOKUP with this. So you have to do two lookups, correct? But using this transformation table, what you will do is you have this transformation table. You come to Power BI here. You come to Power BI here. If you have that transformation table, just select that table. Now that table needs to be imported. Just select that table and just say that this column, this airport name and airport code needs to be matched. Automatically Power BI will do the double VLOOKUP and all those things needs to be done. It will do it for you. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. Now I am not choosing fuzzy lookup for now. This was just for your information. Yeah. Now, I will be explaining one part in detail, and that is this join type, right? But before that, let me complete this lookup. So I've selected this with this, and now I click OK. See what happens. This is the table that I've got. Okay. Now that is not the solution to my problem, because here it created another problem, that is tables are here. Now what am I going to do with this table? Now see here, this is an interesting part. Okay. In this, how will system recognize mom for Mumbai? What is mom? It's Mumbai with the help of this table. That's what the purpose of transformation table, Srinivasan. The purpose of transformation is to tell that MUMA is Mumbai, CCU is Kolkata. Got it? Yeah. Coming back to this one. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go ahead and so I have got this table. Now here, whenever you get anything with this color, there's something, it means something is hidden in it. Never click on that unless you know what will happen after clicking on that. Okay, I'm not going to click on that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see what is there inside. So this is the white portion. I click on that white portion and it actually shows that this much data is hidden within this table. And there can be multiple rows also. This is one single row because only one match is there, but there can be multiple rows also available hidden in this table. That's the reason it is table. If it is supposed to be a row, it will show it as record. Record means single row. Table means multiple column and multiple rows. So at the moment, this is an example of one single row, but it can be multiple rows hidden in this particular cell. Okay, so I see that Farhan is for 20 employee code. So this is 20 employee code name is Farhan Sadiq. Okay, here if I come to this one, Rita Naik. So this is 70 employee code, 70 Rita Naik, right? Likewise, I have multiple data available. Now I don't want this to be hidden inside. I would like this table data to be extracted. What will I do? I have this arrow. I click on that arrow. I check that box that says use original column names and I click OK. Now here, out of these columns, I don't need employee code. I check and uncheck employee code and I have all these options. Okay. I click OK and see this is my VLOOKUP done. Yeah. Those who are confused, let me do it from the beginning. Once again. Okay. So this is the data. Okay. I click on tab. This is the data that I have. I go to home tab, merge queries. And when I go to merge queries, I select which is the table where I have to get the data from. Now here, I have to click on employee ID and employee ID. I will not click on any of these options. That's just for your understanding. I'll click on employee ID and employee ID. These are the matching columns. Now, VLOOKUP has a limitation that this column must be the left column. Here, there is no such limitation. This table, this column can be here. This column can be in the middle. Doesn't matter. So after I've selected these two, I click OK and see this is the table that I've got. I would like to expand it. Click on this two-headed arrow. Uncheck employee code. So you have first name, last name, department. You click uncheck this box that says use original column name as prefix and click OK. Now this is VLOOKUP done, complete VLOOKUP. Yeah. Now you click on close and apply and here you get the screen. Power BI. It's coming up. Just give it a moment. Okay, friends, understood this up till here? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your responses. And see, in this, what we have done is a simple way of doing VLOOKUP. Now, imagine if you have to do it in Excel, how many VLOOKUPs will you end up doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 VLOOKUPs. Okay. Okay. Now, when you talk about these 7 columns, all these 7 things will be, these 7 columns, you have to do it 7 times. So here, what you can do is, with just a click of a button, you could simply do VLOOKUP. Okay. So, whether we'll be able to again today's session, I think someone from the committee will send you the link if this session is getting recorded. I'm not sure. Yeah, session is getting recorded and you may find the recording somewhere. They'll tell you where to find the recording. Okay. So friends, this is for today's session. We learned about basics of Power Query. Tomorrow we'll see how do we merge multiple files together. How do we have multiple files together and create one single Excel file, and then some more details of Power Query, like basic operations like we do concatenate, simple addition, subtraction. How do we write formula if and or, all those stuff we are going to see tomorrow how to do in Power Query. Yeah, somebody said it looks more confusing. The first part could be confusing, but the other features that Power BI has or Power Query has, those are excellent features which are really time saver. I have seen the report that takes weeks or months to be created once you use Power Query or Power BI can be done in just few minutes or few seconds. Trust me, it is possible using Power BI. Okay. So that's it from my side, friends. And let me, before I sign off, let me answer the last few questions that I'm getting. Uh, Okay, instead of doing VLOOKUP, can we declare relationships Power BI in for analysis purpose? Very good question, Sagar. There are two things. Either we can do relationships or we can create tables. Okay, so when we do relationship, that time we will see what exactly is the difference. But your question is very well valid. And let me give you an example. As a Power BI developer, you need to choose whether should you actually go for a table or relationship. I'll give you one example. If your data is getting repeated by any way, by using merge table or VLOOKUP, do not go for merge table. Just go for uh, uh, Power BI. Just go for a relationship. Okay, but again, you need to be pretty good with the relationship as well as these concepts. Okay. And more question, what are the basic minimum hardware requirement? I don't have that as yet. I can give it to you tomorrow. That it's a 4-day session, but it is told to us that it's a 3-day session. Okay, if it is 3 days, no problem. It will be easier for me to get rid of my responsibilities. I'll just check with the team and come back to you whether it's a 3-day or 4-day. I was considering that it's a 4-day and I planned it according to that, but I'll just check with them. Okay. To web. Yes, you can, Sagar. You can publish the report in different websites and web pages. That is possible. Okay, so it is very much possible. Yeah. So thank you very much, friends. Yeah. So I got the confirmation from someone, Sheshu Kumar, that it's a 3-day session. Thank you very much. Okay, which subscription to be taken for the same? The costing part, Sagar, I'll explain it to you tomorrow. Actually, your company has to go for Power BI subscription, or it's a $10 subscription, which is Power BI Pro. Higher subscription is that comes around more than 20 to 30 lakh, which is Power BI Server. That's very costly affair. Okay. And one last thing. So if you want to do any kind of revision or if you want to learn something more, do subscribe to the channel that I have given you. That's my YouTube channel that will actually help you to learn more. Okay. Thank you very much. This is the YouTube channel that I'm pasting. Do like, share, subscribe. Bell icon जरूर दबाइए. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. हाँ गुलपुल.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Hello. हाँ. Sorry.
Huh. Hello. Hello. Yeah. So thanks a lot, sir, for a wonderful session. Yeah. So then we will see you tomorrow. Okay, fine.